Hello, we are good. We are on. We are doing this, Kat. Welcome, everyone. In case you're thinking, what have you just dropped into and what is happening with this recording? I am so excited to say that actually I have a guest with me today, and I'm so happy to have her here. We've got Kat Williams. I'm going to do a little intro, and then I want to hear everything from Kat about what she does, why she's here, and what she wants you to know. But this is all about entering into a new season with this podcast, so that we're going to be having some guest speakers coming on and sharing their pearls of wisdom, their lived experience about what it is to be a thriving woman, to burn brightly, not burning out, to move from that survival, going through the motions, to living a life that feels really good and it feels like it's on your terms and you get to have the success that you want. Like I said, when I was at Kat's event yesterday, just speaking yesterday in this beautiful venue, is we do get to have everything that we want. We can have it all. But the thing is, we want to be the ones now that say
Yeah.
what it is. And so Kat is here. If you're on some of the platforms that allow video, you can even see Kat and me, which is exciting. If you're on the audio, that's also okay.
Oh, it's so
So
nice to be here,
Kat,
Sarah
welcome.
Lou.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. And actually, if you are watching the video, you can see that Kat and I both have super jazzy jumpers on. We're super snuggy. At the time of recording, this is the 2nd of February, so it's still quite wintry outside, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you said I'm
But
wearing a fleece, I was like, so am I. That's fine. It's for Fleece Day.
it's a fleece day. It's a fleece kind of day. And I just want everyone to know that when I was thinking about bringing guests onto the podcast, that I was like, there was one woman that I need to have on here first.
Oh,
The
that is
absolute powerhouse, the absolute gem that is Kat Williams.
of
And when can I tell them our origin story of how we
course,
first
yeah,
met?
yeah. Share, give some context.
Kat and I have the same business coach, an amazing woman called Tanya. Shout out to Tanya. And we were in an in-person event down in London. I think it was June, wasn't it?
That's
June
right, last summer.
2025. And we were in this space and I hadn't met Kat before, and I just loved your energy, your enthusiasm, your passion for helping women. And I just sat thinking, yeah, I need this woman in my life. So at the lunchtime, I came straight up to you and was like, hello, I'm Sarah Lou, and I think we should do some stuff together.
Yes, definitely.
And context, some events, some speaking, and that's what we started to do.
Yeah, we have.
So, and it's gone from there, hasn't it?
It has, and I think, we only said it yesterday that our
Mm.
work is so needed for women, and it
Mm-hmm.
complements our
Yeah,
work, my work, your work, just is the perfect
it is.
complementary, you know,
Yeah,
for that woman to
absolutely.
get the whole of the well-being aspect.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I truly believe we are beautifully complex as women. I know we sometimes really feel our complexity and we think that's not necessarily a good thing, but it really is. There is so much to us. There's so much power within our mental and emotional well-being and our physicality. And I think a lot of women at this season, at this time of their life, are feeling quite disconnected from their needs and how to meet them. And there's a lot of noise out there. There's
So
a
much.
heck of a lot of noise out there.
Yeah.
And later on, we're going to talk about how you can help people just shave some of that noise away
Yeah.
because it just adds to the overwhelm. We're talking about women who are really exhausted, who are burning out, who are overwhelmed, who want more for their life, but they don't know where to begin and so they get stuck. But before we dive into that, Kat, I would love to hear more from you so that you could share some of your story
Yeah.
about what you're doing now, how you came into this work, that it's your calling and it's your passion, so that these amazing women here are taking time out of their schedule to listen or to watch. You get a bit of a feel for who you are,
Thank
if you
you.
felt able to share.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me today. I love
Oh,
being able
pleasure.
to talk about my passion and, what
Yeah,
really makes me tick. And I know
yeah.
nothing else really, Sarah Lou. I qualified
Mm,
at 18 as an aerobic
mm,
instructor. Had my
mhm,
sights on drama school, and
mhm.
I was about 16, 17, and my mum took me to a local aerobic class. And it was that moment I said to mum, I want to do that.
Love it.
And I
Love it.
that must be, 1994, let's say, something like that. So my
Yeah.
career then quickly just 2 feet into fitness. So I qualified at 18 as a gym instructor, and I worked for a big company called Fitness First for close to 10 years. Most people have heard of Fitness First, and my career with them was phenomenal. So I started on the gym floor, cleaning treadmills and being the keenest gym instructor in the club,
Yeah.
wanting my boss to see how enthusiastic I was. And my career went from being 19 all the way to late 20s as a regional operations manager in Southeast Asia. So I
Which is amazing. What a journey. I
it
love it.
It really
Love
was,
that. Yeah.
stepping up the career ladder, from those humble beginnings, which is why I'm a great believer in hard work, passion, and when you do find something you love, and for me, that was making people fall in love with fitness, whatever that looked
Yeah.
like, whether it was a grapevine or, a little session in the gym. And that took me to Asia, and I did a lot of my work in Asia. I was out there for about 3 years. And then I was lucky enough to work for Fitness First in Sydney as well.
Gosh, the dream. The
Yeah,
dream.
I did a lot of traveling with Fitness First and then came back
Yeah.
home because I got so homesick.
Yeah.
And very
Yeah.
quickly went to a mate's wedding and met the best man, who is now my husband.
I love that. I love that because it would have been quite easy when you're on the side of the world, like to have missed that event and those little pieces that click together and make the beautiful life that you have now.
Yeah,
Wow. It's
totally.
like a real sliding door moment, isn't it?
Yeah, a real moment like that. And I think because I was
Yeah.
away for so long, I was getting homesick, I miss
Yeah.
family, miss mum and dad, miss
Mm,
brothers. So came
yeah.
home, fell into work with David Lloyd and some other chains. But me and Adam wanted to start a family, and that's what we did. And Zestfit was born. So Zestfit is my fitness business. And that
Yeah.
must be about 16 years ago. And the core of that was personal training and group exercise. I did that for many years and then opened my own studio. So I had my own bricks and mortar. And from there, lockdown happened, closed my studio, pivoted really into the online space. So I guess I've been in the
Amazing.
online space now 9 months, there or give or take. But now I'm really passionate about helping women similar age to me who are going through perimenopause or menopause, who feel overwhelmed and don't know where to start with their fitness journey. And that's what I do. I've lived it. I now coach it. I refine it for that woman who wants to,
Yeah.
get rid of that noise because there's so much noise out there, Sarah Lou, when it comes to dieting, fitness. And I hope to be that beacon of light to say, you do not need to do a diet, darling. You don't.
That is good news. And like we've talked before, because of the generation and the age of the women that we work with, similar age to us, that we grew up around a lot of noise, a lot of pressure, a lot of things in the media, magazine covers. It got absorbed into our
Oh,
subconscious when we were so young,
so young. I
so
mean,
young.
remember that Kate Moss,
Mm,
it
hmm.
was the
Yeah,
supermodel time, wasn't it? Where skinny
absolutely.
was, size zero skinny. We were
Yeah.
brought up in that. We were brought up with hammering
Mm,
cardio and never lifting
mm,
any weights and making sure we
mm.
survived on salads and Rivitas.
Yes, yes,
It's so
yeah,
we've got a lot of untangling to do, a lot of behavior that we've got to sort of learn new
mm,
behavior as we get into our
mm,
40s and 50s. That
hmm,
we don't have to
hmm,
be like that anymore, but it takes a little
hmm.
bit of work and trust,
Yeah, yeah.
to believe that
Such
we can
good
do
news.
it.
Yeah, it's such good news, isn't it? And exactly what was said before on many an occasion when we chatted, that the women that we work with and help at this time of life, she is really time poor.
Yeah,
She is super, super busy. She has got many things on her plate. She's carrying decisions at home, at work, the mental load. And actually, that can create a real feeling of stuck, whether that's in your journey of going
totally.
forward with your physical fitness, your mental well being, making any changes really. It's that stuck feeling, isn't it? And that's where those old messages kick in, isn't it? And so
Totally.
Yeah. And so when people come to you, or what stage of the journey are they on? Have they been carving out some time for themselves and it's not landing? Are they thinking, I just need to get help straight away? Or is it a bit of both? I could see it being a bit of both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit of both. I would
Mm.
say in the main that my
Mm-hmm.
client who is like, I really need that help now, is so
Yeah.
sick of dieting or
Yeah.
not getting the results that they used to get. So maybe
Mm.
5 years ago, what they were doing was really helping them stay in shape or really keep that, peak performance with their brain and their energy and their sleep pattern. But then 5 years on, what they were doing is just not cutting it anymore. So they're finding that frustration and that overwhelm and that fatigue is really starting to catch up with them. And they're burnt out because they are almost sick of trying to get the results and they're carrying that, and
Yeah.
that's where I try and clear all that chaos and show them how simplistic it can be, which is what it feels like. What you're telling me, just to do X, Y, and Z? Yes, because women are so used to kitchen sinking it, doing everything. And then
Absolutely.
suddenly when it
Absolutely.
doesn't work,
Mm.
they start to
Mm.
think, well, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing everything,
Mm.
but it's not working.
I'm doing everything and it's not working. And it's that sense of being too far gone of it.
Yeah,
It's got beyond where you can do that point of return, whatever that looks like in your life, physical or mental well-being. And also exactly what you said, this is about making it as simple as possible, as straightforward as possible. And then there's that rebellion in your mind where, well, it's not going to count then.
yeah,
It can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. It has to be really hard. And again, this is our generation of women who were taught that for something to be worthwhile and to be worthy of your time and your energy, it needed to be hard. It needed to probably not feel that good. There was definitely going to be some self-sacrifice, self-abandonment,
yes.
pushing through, exhaustion, overwhelm, all of those things. Hit the brick wall, right? Now you need to get back up again. And it shows itself in so many ways that we live, doesn't it?
Totally. And when
Yeah.
I start to give my coaching and my advice, and it's really simplified, you know,
Yeah.
my clientele question it because they think, well, hang on a minute, I'm used to being hungry, I'm used to doing hammering the pavements, I'm used to being on the cross trainer, so
Yeah.
suddenly when you can reframe it and make it feel less chaotic, it starts to really help land. And this is not about doing everything, it's just about doing a few powerful things consistently. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
consistency is queen. And we hear that a
Mm.
lot in the fitness space, but it really is key when you get in your 40s and 50s because, them small little habits, as we know, Sarah Lou, they compound. So if you drink 2 liters of water every day, for example, and do that for the next 3 weeks, what a difference that will make in your skin, your energy, your sleep, your bladder. But
We did talk about the bladder, didn't we?
yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
but those,
Which gets some extra steps in.
yeah, lots of steps up and down to the toilet.
Yeah.
But it's those really intentional habits which are easy, done well and consistently, which is what I really try and carve out now with my clientele, rather than I'll start again on Monday. I'll start again on Monday because by Wednesday they're knackered, they're burnt out, they're frazzled, and then so it repeats.
And then the self-judgment creeps in, doesn't it? That self-judgment, that inner critic that loves to go to town on us, that tells us of our failure, of how everyone else is doing it, could do it, doing it better than us.
Yeah, that
And it keeps,
comparisonitis that we spoke
yeah,
about, oh
and
my
it
God,
keeps,
she signed up
yeah,
to a boot camp, she's doing a
yeah,
5K, and then
yeah,
suddenly it becomes too much, and
yeah.
potentially you can feel like, hang on a minute, oh, sod it, I'm not going to do anything.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. It feels like we're so far behind
Yeah,
that actually, how could a baby step make any difference?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
once that
absolutely.
shift in one baby step, and I think that
Mm,
as a coach, you are really light in the way, you're holding your clients' hand,
mm,
as
yeah,
much as you can. And sometimes it's those baby steps that are so powerful. And that then baby steps, when in turn they are consistent, what that does for that client's confidence and self-esteem is
Yeah.
second to none, and then you're off to the races.
Yeah, and I love that. And maybe that word consistent we need to talk about because consistency, being consistent, showing up, again, there can feel some pressure attached to that.
Yeah.
And actually, the consistency that we can see on Instagram or if we Google things or if we do TikTok, not sure how many TikTokers are out there. I'm trying to avoid that in my life at the
Me
minute.
too.
There's so many, so many social media things that can grab our attention. The consistency can feel a bit like a punishing schedule. Like, oh my gosh, this is yet another thing I need to do. This is yet another thing I need to add to my to-do list. And actually, I'm not getting this stuff done anyway. So I'll just wait. I'll wait to the holiday, the half term,
Yeah.
the deadline.
Yeah.
I'll wait because then it can begin. So what is this consistency? What would it look like? The consistency that you want to promote, that you want to blow the lid off what we're seeing online.
Well, I really want to meet my client or meet that woman who's listening today,
Mm,
meet them
mm,
where they're at. And I
yeah.
see a lot of women, I've got clients that are commuting to London every day, that are working from home, that are busy in board meetings. So what their consistency is and someone else's consistency is just so different. And that's what for one, that client has to feel okay with. Well, my consistency is just walking. That's okay. Whereas someone else might say, well, my consistency is my food prep, it's my water, it's my sleep pattern. It doesn't matter what that consistency looks like, as long as I can meet my client where she is and it feels not pressured. It feels like it's support. So,
Yeah.
and that takes a little bit of work because, again, we're going back to that toxic 90s mindset where it's like, hang on a minute, if I'm not doing everything, 7 days a week, it doesn't count. Whereas we start to get that consistency happen depending on that woman's lifestyle and how full her plate is.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely. Because,
results on
yeah,
any end of the spectrum. I see it
yeah,
so
yeah.
often. You can get results doing a 5 a.m. kettlebell session for 10 minutes, or you just get results from drinking a little bit more water and walking around the block. So,
That is such good news. That's what we're here for, isn't it? Some
yeah,
good news from hope, for hope, that doesn't need to be hard to add to the load, to the to-do list, to make us feel like there's even more things need to do. Because actually what you're saying about is this is not about having that cookie cutter approach,
yeah,
one size fits all. This is what you have to do and you have to do it. This is actually about saying, well, let's meet you in your season of life
yeah.
where you are, what's happening with work or family or schedule, and to help you optimize what you can in this
Totally.
season.
And then we can
Yeah.
build on that because, typically I
Mm.
might have a woman who say to me, you know what, I can only do XYZ. So, okay, we'll start with that. That feels good for both of us because I want her to get results. But once we start going, SaraLou, then, oh, I want to do a bit more. I want to buy a kettlebell. The more you move, the more you want to move. The better you eat, the better you feel. The better you feel, the better wife you are, the better boss you are. So it is all about that positive behavior that starts to then happen. So when you do start with baby steps, then baby steps typically lead to a little bit more motivation. That motivation leads to a little bit more action. And then suddenly my jeans feel less tight. I feel like I've got a bit more energy. And that's where it gets really powerful because you're then starting on a different trajectory. So even though we start really down here on that small little actions, some clients, they're like, you know what, Kat, I've signed up to do a couch to 5K. Whatever
Yeah,
that
yeah.
looks like. So
That's great. It's great.
it's
Yeah.
that's the power of movement is medicine.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if people have been listening to this podcast for a while, they will know how much I talk about walking, how much I love to walk, how much walking was a huge part, it still is a huge part of my life, but a huge part of my healing and recovery journey when I went through my burnout
Yeah,
story. And just to move your body, to have that moving meditation, whether you're stomping out or taking in the scenery, whether
yeah,
you're listening to really like dance music, as I shared with Kat. That's one
yeah.
of the things I love to listen to when I'm out walking, or just nothing. You
Walking
know,
is
it
so underrated, Sarah Lou.
just the best.
It is
It
so
is, yeah,
underrated as a
yeah.
weight loss, fat loss,
Mm,
endorphin
mm,
high. It's so
mm.
underrated.
Emotional well-being,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
We're not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hammering out the burpees, so it's like, well, what's the point? It's like, no
There
more.
do not need to be any burpees
Yeah,
unless we really,
no
really want to.
burpees. But walking is so underrated. But when I start to
Yeah,
put that in as part of a prescription with my clients,
yeah,
okay,
yes.
what's your step count on average?
Mm,
Maybe it's 3K if they're sat at a desk all day or they can't get outside. Then we just slowly layer that up a little bit. And like you've just experienced, you fall in love with walking because it becomes
oh, absolutely.
your
Yeah,
reset, your meditation.
yeah.
And
You miss it
then
if you don't have it. Mm,
exactly. And then we make
mm,
walking more intentional. So it's like, right, we're
hmm.
going to walk with a bit of intention now. A little
Yeah.
bit of,
Get one of those weighted vests. I'm gonna do it, Kat. I'm gonna get one.
yes, get a weighted vest. Another way to just add in, a smart
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. It's about making it work for you, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
about when you are time poor, energy poor, feeling like, this is going to be tough going. We want to know that everything that we do is going to move the needle, that
Yes.
everything we
Yeah.
do is the right thing for us, for our body, our mind, our schedule.
Totally.
And I think it's such good news. I mean, it is great news that actually it's all about those little baby steps and how they themselves foster more motivation.
Yeah.
Because I think motivation is a big one. We can have it and not have it at the same time. We
Absolutely.
can plan it
Motivation
and then
fades, doesn't it?
yeah, absolutely. If we don't kind of catch ourselves in that moment where we have that spark of motivation because we've got a million other things to do, then the time we plan for it feels a lot harder, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And we can slip into that all or nothing at that point. And I know a lot of the women that I work with and that are in this space because these are high achieving, brilliant, capable, amazing women who do incredible things with their career, their business. They've built, haven't they? They've built careers, they've built companies, business, all of those things, families, that actually they know how to go in hard. They know how to do the thing to get the momentum to build what they have built. And actually, what you're talking about is inviting some softness in.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
actually, this does not have to be all or nothing because when we do that,
Yeah.
actually, it tends to be we fall into the gap and we don't move, we
You
don't shift.
absolutely, you've hit the nail on
Yeah.
the head. And I teach a
Mm,
lot of anyone who comes into my world, stop chasing willpower because
mm,
willpower is something that again we can relate to being high achieving women in business as performative, whereas really we want to stop chasing the willpower and chase a rhythm. And that rhythm can be my walking, my water, my strength. What rhythm do I want to create for the month of February or for 2026? And once we fall into the rhythm of consistency, and rhythm around the children or rhythm around the business, then we start to automatically not depend on chasing willpower and motivation, and
yeah.
that's where the real power works because then you're doing it just like you brush your teeth. It becomes
Yeah.
automatic.
Comes to your normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. How amazing. That is a real like little, we need to get that like on a card or have that around the house. So we're not chasing willpower, we're creating rhythm.
Yeah.
We're chasing rhythm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And rhythm itself just sounds so much more appealing
It does.
and
Yeah.
accessible.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I can feel that coming in me now. Like,
I'm
yes,
doing
let's
that.
have a rhythm.
Yeah,
It
I'm
doesn't
doing that
feel
now.
yeah, it doesn't feel like punishment. And I think a lot of women, when they are so busy, they're so used to applying their mental effort and getting results. Yes, that cost to themselves hugely. We're now seeing that more and more again. It's actually knowing that actually we can have some softness, we can have a rhythm, we can find our way with this, we can be curious, we can see where it goes and keep walking that path. Like you said, having
Absolutely.
that little light ahead.
Yeah. And not feel
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I've got to have the willpower, the restriction. It's
Mm,
the only way I
yeah.
can get in the dress on Friday night, or it's the
Mm,
only way I can perform. We are in our 40s. We need our brain, we need our mental clarity, and we need to be firing on all cylinders. And we can't do that just on a black coffee. We can't do that on endless cardio. We need to fuel the brain and the body in the right way. And that rhythm comes naturally with that. And then on Friday night, if we fancy a glass of fizz, we can, because we've had
We
such
definitely
a great
can.
rhythm Monday to
We
Friday.
definitely can. It's giving ourselves permission, isn't it, to be human, to do the things that feel good, to ignite that passion or that spark for our lives
Yeah,
again, through movement, through nutrition, through caring for ourselves,
yeah.
by actually saying, I matter. I'm a priority here.
I love that.
I do matter.
Yeah,
And when I matter, when I give myself permission to be well, wow,
yeah.
amazing things happen. The power of a well-resourced woman
I love
is
that.
incredible.
It's so true,
Yeah.
SaraLou. And I see the work that I do and you do, we see it,
Mm,
don't we?
mm.
We see that woman then suddenly blossom, that woman, get so much more confident in her ability to perform, or her ability to just socialize, whatever that looks like. Everyone's got a different confidence, but that confidence really builds when we start to take control of how our own health and fitness, and strength. I mean, being strong is so empowering. I want to be able to not ask for any help to put the hand luggage in the overhead locker. I want to
Yes,
be
absolutely.
independent.
Take those bags in from the car. Yes,
All
yeah,
that, and all of that
yeah,
builds that confidence and resilience,
yeah,
and that's just
yeah,
through
yeah,
movement that works. Whether that be kettlebell strength training or not, or just that intentional walking.
yeah. It's that self-trust, isn't it? And I think when you feel stronger in your body, stronger in your mind, you feel that trust start to really blossom.
Yeah,
Because here's the thing, we don't know what lies ahead. In fact, we know what does lie ahead, which is life keeps on doing life with
yeah.
all its curveballs and
Yeah,
all its ebbs and flows. And when we wait for things to naturally get better or things to settle, we know actually now we're at this stage in life, we know things don't settle all by themselves. We need to be proactive, or we hope to be proactive. But that feels hard when you don't have that self trust
yeah,
to say, I've got this, I
yeah,
can do this thing,
yeah,
I matter, I can step forward, whether that's in a gym class, in the boardroom, in your family life, whatever that looks like, and say, I've got my own back. I
yeah,
can be who I am and know it's beautiful and worthy of all the good things.
yeah,
Because I think so many women, whether it's through, diet cultures when we were growing up or other narratives that we've heard and absorbed, we have conformed to the conditioning that society wanted us to do. And I think one
we
of the things
don't
we
want to
both
have
see.
time for ourselves.
Yeah, so that's one thing we both see in the work that we do is that women struggle to put themselves even further up the
Yeah,
list. Maybe not the top.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what that's what I do. A lot of my work is, let's carve out the magic of 10 minutes
yeah.
just for you to put yourself at the top of the pecking order, just for a few days. This doesn't have to be going out and doing a class 5 days a week. But once you start to go, okay, I can do 10 minutes, and then that is where that self-trust and that, yeah, giving themselves permission. Okay, the kids can get the breakfast, or I can tell my, assistant to deal with that call while I do my magic of 10 minutes.
Magic of 10 minutes.
The
Isn't
magic
that
of 10
amazing?
minutes, yeah. And that's what
Yeah.
I teach with a lot of my clients when we get going.
Mm,
The magic of 10 minutes of strength training. And you can
mhm.
do some strength training in a telephone box. You don't have to be, not literally.
Do we have anymore?
I mean, in the space.
I'm with you. I've got you.
Find a telephone box.
So we need to get a telephone book. Okay.
I meant, you know what I meant.
Every step of the way. I love it.
But the movement of 10 minutes can be in a small space, the
Small
size of a
space.
telephone box.
Tiny telephone book. Or other spaces similarly sized.
And that is where we can carve that time out, and giving ourselves
Yeah.
permission to do that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think things being accessible is a huge part of this. If it involves having to put on certain clothes, get to a certain location by a certain time, and life happens, in that moment, it can feel the easiest option when this is new and maybe not part of that rhythm is to go, next week, next Monday,
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah,
And actually, when we set ourselves up for success, that's one of the things I talk about a lot is let's set ourselves up for success. This is not about lowering the bar. This is not about dreaming big. It's actually saying, okay, but all of these little steps are part of that bigger picture where I really want to get to. But this is the steps of how I'm going to. It's like the stepping stones,
Yeah.
the stepping stones across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
setting that bar in 10 minutes is allowed to stop at 10.
Yeah.
It's allowed to go on for 12. It's
Yeah. And
let's be flexible here.
and that's what happens, we start with
Mm,
10 and it's like, oh my
mm,
God, I'm loving this. I want to do 15. And then before you
yeah.
know it, you've realized that, yeah, that's one of my now non-negotiables. I will do a 10,
Yes.
15 minute strength because I know that I'll be, a better boss, a better leader. I'll make better decisions. I'll make better food choices and I'll be, on a high for most of the day because my endorphins are, helping with that.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I was going to ask, part of this is about noticing, isn't it? It's about being aware of how it feels to do that thing,
Yeah.
to show up for yourself, do your 10 minutes in your telephone box or wherever you are.
Wherever you are, the garage, the back bedroom.
And notice. Just give yourself a moment to notice.
Yeah,
How do I feel? What does it feel like in my body and my mind to be doing this?
yeah,
And that helps reinforce that positive momentum,
yeah.
doesn't it?
I think as women as
Yeah.
well, if I was to say to somebody who would sit in front of me and has had a history of being super fit and then suddenly life happens and that's not the case anymore. 10 minutes. Well, what's the point in 10 minutes? I'm so used to doing 60 minutes. It's like, well, this is better than nothing. And this is a start. And then once that 10-minute happens and you accept that you're at the 10-minute movement piece, that opens up a whole new world. So it's not like we spoke about walking earlier. Don't underestimate the power of those simplistic movements, the 10 minutes, the walking, the water. Most of this stuff is for free and is so
Yes.
powerful, and not to
Yeah.
underestimate that feeling it will give you when you go into a board meeting, when you come and be on a podcast, whatever that
Yeah.
looks like.
It helps you show up like you,
Yeah,
the version of you,
yeah,
that favorite version of you. And you've really nailed it. I think we need to speak about, and I do talk to my clients about this, that even on this journey of well-being, when we are moving from that place of survival and exhaustion and overwhelm and burnout to where we want to be going, that along that way, that little quiet whisper of perfectionism can
yes,
creep in.
yes,
And it says, well, really, actually, is that going to count? Is that going to be enough? You
yeah,
should do more. You
yeah,
should try harder. All of
yeah,
that creeps in and it can come along for the journey. And that's why we need to be really aware of what's happening in our mind as
yeah,
well as when we're moving our body, because it's running the show. It's doing that
yeah,
narrative. It's
all the time.
telling you, oh yeah, all the time. So what common things do you see come up for your ladies? We've got the perfectionism, we've got the all or nothing thinking,
All of
the
that, the all
maybe
or nothing.
procrastination. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, procrastination is huge, that
Mm.
voice that is just constantly saying, what if I'll start again, I'll do it on Monday, I'll do it when work's not as busy, I'll do it when I lose a bit of weight, I'll do it when life calms down. But life's never going to calm down, if you're a busy female founder and you've got teenagers or parents that you're looking after. Life is never going to miraculously open up some golden opportunities to work out 5 days a
Here is your
week.
moment.
It's just,
Take it.
it's
Yes.
just not, and
No.
what I really love is my clientele or any woman that comes to me and says, right, I'm so busy, but I really need to get a grip on my health and fitness. And that is
Hmm.
where you'll really succeed. Because if you start a new regime that fits your life, then you'll become really successful. Because if you can do it when life's full, you can do it. You can do it at any time. And like I said earlier, we want this to be just like unloading the dishwasher. It's got to be on autopilot. You just do it as part of your day, and then that becomes so much easier. And then again, teaching my clientele that messy is good. We love messy. We love messy, dirty, all over the place action.
that's real life. That's being a human. That's letting your humanity in, isn't it?
And
When
it's
we work with women,
silly them, isn't it, SaraLou? You must have this
yeah,
a lot in
yeah,
your work.
yeah.
It's okay to be messy. It's okay.
Absolutely.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
part of
Otherwise we don't begin. We don't begin. If we want, yeah. Yeah, we don't.
I
If
want
we
to see a
fear,
messy food portion. I don't want to see a perfect, restaurant style omelette.
doesn't have to be Instagrammable or any of that. It can be
Yeah,
all over the place. Absolutely. Because if we think it has to look a certain way, or we look a certain way, or move in a certain way, or do a certain thing, again we get stuck. We get
yes,
stuck. And that procrastination is not wanting to do it. It's not lack of motivation or any of that. It's actually just fearing getting started.
yeah,
Because what if it doesn't look right? What if I don't do enough? What if it doesn't get me to where I want to be?
yeah.
It's fear talking, and fear holds us back because that's our amazing, wonderful subconscious. Oh my goodness, our subconscious are amazing. However, the way in this time that they try to help us actually often hinders us.
Yeah,
They want us to be safe. They want us to be in the familiar. And so when we think about doing these gentle challenges, it activates hard, doesn't it? It goes in with the fear and says, let's maybe just stay where we are. And actually, when we're in that familiar, we don't like it anymore. We're talking about women who are at that crossroads where they're feeling they want more.
yeah,
They're feeling the resistance in their own mind, and they are boldly stepping to the edge of that comfort zone. We don't need to leap off it,
yeah.
but to the edge saying, okay, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to learn to trust myself and see what happens. Be curious. Do these little mini experiments. Allow
And
yourself to be
trust
messy,
and
to be
trust
human.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, because
trust.
that's where it all shifts.
Yeah.
Mm.
So true. I say just trust the process. I know it feels a little bit a, a bit strange, a bit simple, a bit messy, but trust it. Let it happen. Trust your coach as well. We get fantastic women in our spaces who put their trust in us, and I think when that
Amazing.
happens, and that takes a lot for a high achieving woman to do. Okay, I'm going to put my trust in you, but I'm going to lose control, and you're going to tell me what to do.
Yeah,
Which I
yeah, 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 absolutely. And that's where everything starts to shift. I very much find this that when my women come to work with me, when they make that decision in their own mind, that's where everything changes. That's where before we've even had that first coaching call, they've already shifted something, a little micro baby step.
yeah,
And I think this is the power of coaching, because actually this is the power of you giving yourself permission to do
yeah,
something different.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's a joy. It's a pure joy
and
to
lean
watch
into
and
it.
to work in this space. Yeah.
Yeah. And who
Yeah.
who cares, if you show up and do your workout in your pajamas, and who cares? You're doing it, and that's to be celebrated. The fact that you're doing it when life is full.
Yeah, absolutely. And life is full, like you described, as we get older, life is actually just going to get more complicated. That's something that I say to my ladies all the time as well. There is not going to be a season of simplicity coming up. And we need to learn new ways to do things in this time and in this season, because all the ones we've carried forward from our 20s and our 30s actually aren't helping. They're not landing anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, they're part of that kind of hardwiring, that script, that narrative that's keeping us where we don't want to be kept anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And so, yeah, it's leaning in, be curious, trust. Yeah, amazing. Kat, as we come to the end of our episode, what things would you love the women listening to this to take away with? Little nuggets, little
little
pearls,
nuggets. I
little
I
nuggets.
would love to just to say, start with one non-negotiable that
Hmm.
suits
Hmm.
you. So whether
Yes.
that be, okay, I've really got to focus on my movement. So whether that be some yoga, Pilates, walking, whatever you want to do, you enjoy doing, you do that. Start with one non-negotiable. Doesn't have to be sexy. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want a messy non-negotiable. A big messy dollop of cottage cheese non-negotiable. And work on that non-negotiable for at least a week, if not a little bit longer, and let that become part of your world. And what that one non-negotiable will do is then make you feel like, okay, I reckon I've got some space in my brain and my world to add in another one. What will that look like? Maybe I'll buy some new trainers, maybe I'll sign up to a class, maybe I'll treat myself to a kettlebell, whatever that looks like. Start small, start intentional, and don't start sexy.
Yeah, love it. Let's be messy. Let's do it and be messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have those days off. I find, with women that we work with, they're high achieving, they're ambitious, they're action takers, so I've got a particular client in mind that I'm working with, and she's phenomenal. She's so busy, she's super, super successful. And my work with this lady is that we've really got to work on that rest. We've really got to work on taking a step back and giving permission, like you said earlier, to say, okay, today I just want to have a rest. I don't want to go and do a walk. I don't want to eat healthy. It's okay to have those moments of balance and rest, because we feel like we've got to be firing on all cylinders in order to get the results. But muscles are made in bed, for one. So if you are serious about getting stronger, they're going to happen when you're resting. And also what that rest and reset does for your mind is fantastic, because then you'll enter your next day so much more refreshed and motivated.
That's so great. Yes, rest. Rest is something that we all struggle with. Rest is something that
Especially when you
the
fall
women
in love
listening
with
that we
a
work with.
fitness journey.
Yeah, yeah.
A
And
lot of
rest is
clientele, they
so
get
powerful.
scared that if they rest, or if I rest,
Mm,
I'm going to fall
mm.
off the wagon.
Yes, yes. What does
Can't
this
rest.
mean? Absolutely. And it's because you've been taught not to
Yeah,
rest. You've been taught
yeah,
not to rest, that rest
yeah,
is indulgent, a luxury. You
yeah,
got to really hustle and earn it. And rest actually is flopping into bed exhausted at
yeah,
the end of the night. That's what we were told rest is. And
yeah,
actually, there's so many different ways to rest
yeah,
and to recuperate. And I think, as we come to the end of this episode, we definitely identify that women who are very busy, pushing hard in their career and in life, can often be attracted to pushing hard physically as well,
yeah,
because that's the same energy. And actually,
yeah,
some of this is inviting that softening and that resting
totally.
and seeing the balance, start to see
Yeah,
the nervous system start to shift between the two modes.
yeah,
Otherwise, we're permanently stuck in that stress mode, aren't we?
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And we talk about that power, that strength training, that movement, but equally it's so important to rest. And as we get into midlife, we need to be more intentional with our training rather than do more. So be smarter as a strategy. So maybe less workouts, but make them really intentional. And then you've got extra rest, because your body will need it, your brain will need it, your body will need it, and you'll feel better
Yeah.
for it. And I want you injury
True
free.
rest.
I want my clients injury free.
Well, yes, this is on in the back of my mind is injuries, seeing as I'm currently nursing the poorly knee at the moment.
Yeah, and it's
That's a
frustrating, isn't
conversation for another time. But it is frustrating, absolutely. And it's a reminder actually that yeah, when we have this physical injury, we can see it and we can feel it. And this happens in our own mind as well. That sometimes when we push and push and push, we're going to be reminded
Yeah,
actually, whether that's by our body or by our mind, that rest is so important.
so
That care and
important.
attention is
Yeah.
so, so needed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially for the
absolutely.
results in terms of what I do,
Mm.
that rest is critical. And giving yourself permission that you're not failing, you're not falling behind if you're resting. It's absolutely fine. And I try now and portray that a lot in terms of how I do my training. As I'm 50 this year, so I really want to be fit and strong, but equally, I need to protect my joints and make sure that longevity is at the top of my list. And the only way I'll do that is through intentional rest, and giving myself permission to do that. Not easy, not easy, but
Yes,
I
well, it's an active practice, isn't it? We're always about practice makes progress.
yeah,
We're always a lifelong evolution and journey of becoming, aren't we?
yeah,
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 absolutely. This is not about the getting to the destination. This is about learning along the way, isn't it?
yeah,
What you
absolutely,
need in that season and giving it to yourself.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, my love. It is such a pleasure
Oh,
to
I
have
hope
had you
that's
in this space
giving your audience some
to
real,
share.
yeah, real motivation.
Oh my gosh, it will be amazing. And what I will do for everyone listening is in the show notes, we'll pop on the contact details for Kat in case anyone wants to reach out and ask you a question, hear more about what you do and how you do it and how they can get
Absolutely.
involved. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
My
I can't wait to see you
pleasure.
again in person very soon.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
pleasure.
And I will chat to you very soon, my love. Thank you, Kat. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Bye.